It all started with a seemingly minor incident in Rio de Janeiro. Kenya's sprints coach John Anzrah was busted using a badge belonging to athlete Ferguson Rotich to access the Olympic village for a free meal. It was an incident that saw Anzrah recalled from Rio de Janeiro, and it shamed the entire Kenyan entourage. But why would a coach who was officially on duty lack accreditation to the Olympic village where the competing athletes reside? Well, on arrival in Nairobi after his disgraceful departure from Rio, Anzrah lifted the lid on what would turn out to be a scandal in the Kenyan camp in Rio. Anzrah claims his woes were as a result of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOCK, who sidelined genuine coaching staff in favor of family, friends, and even lovers of NOCK officials.
It's actually something very funny. Catherine Ndereba is the assistant team manager of the team, and he was sleeping with her in a rented house.
I really don't know what to say, but all I can say, to me, this is a total mess. Because from the word go, as an athlete, as a former athlete, I didn't expect this. As much as we are calling ourselves that we have a National Olympic Committee.
Even the athletes we went with were being given a key, go to your room. When they reach there, other people are occupying the same room.
Armed with this tip-off, we tried to verify these claims. Citizen TV obtained documents detailing who was who in the Kenyan Olympics entourage. The documents, signed off by the chef de mission, Stephen Soy, show that officially Kenya had a team of 87 athletes and 97 officials in Rio. The athletes list with 87 names seems quite in order, and it includes the Rugby Sevens men's and women's team, 46 athletes, 3 boxers, 1 judoka, 1 weightlifter, 1 archer, and 2 swimmers. But it is the list of officials with 97 names that raised eyebrows. It appears that some relatives of officials found their way on the list. Number 66 on the list is Ian Kipkosgei Keino, a son to NOCK chairperson Kipchoge Keino. A website, letsrun.com, lists him as a manager of the family's high-performance training center in Eldoret. His role in the team remains unclear. Then, NOCK Secretary General Francis Kinyili Paul was also accompanied by his son Vincent Kinyili Paul, whose name is also on the list at number 68. The young Kinyili, who posted these pictures on Facebook, is a football player with a local club in Kenya, and his role with the Kenya team in Rio also remains a mystery. Then there was a delegate by the name Peter Ekai Ajore, who is believed to be a close relative of the Principal Secretary, Ambassador Richard Ekai. However, Ekai is also listed as a bodyguard in the Ministry of Sports and could have travelled on official duty. Nevertheless, his pictures on the sandy beaches of Copacabana show that he took some time off to have some fun. But the biggest question mark in the list of athletics officials is number 36. Her name is Juliet Chepkorir Maritim, and she happens to be the head of delegation Stephen Soy's wife. And if all this was curious enough, imagine my shock when I saw my name, Waihiga Mwaura, among the list of journalists that had allegedly been sponsored by NOCK to cover the Rio Olympics. Yet my employer, the Royal Media Services, had fully catered for all my expenses in Rio de Janeiro. What was going on here? I sought to find out from the head of the Kenya delegation, Stephen Soy.
My name is on the list, Bwana Soy, at the very end. Yet I paid my own ticket through Royal Media.
Well, if you purchase your ticket, I'm afraid. I don't know why, because the provisions that was made was that we were going to provide tickets.
Is this not peculiar, Mr. Soy? I don't know. I'm concerned.
It's peculiar to you, but to me, no.
But how about the relatives of the officials whose names are on the list? The likes of Ian Keino and Vincent Kinyili Paul.
Excuse me, I don't know. I signed a list of those people whom we thought were coming to Rio for purposes of acquiring the tickets for them.
Something was clearly not adding up, and I had to press on.
And to keep asking, sorry, I keep asking this, no joyriders whatsoever?
Well, in the list that I've signed, I'm surprised that people are talking about joyriders. Everybody has a role. And if
I can interrupt you on that, I have a list here, Bwana Soy. I want you to confirm if it has been sent to me from Nairobi. I've been told to ask you if this list was the one that you signed. And if it was, there are certain names there that we are not very sure what their role was here, Bwana Soy.
Well, I have a list. Whatever list is appearing there.
Because I see your signature.
My signature.
Yes.
This was an approved list. So any other person that would appear.
Let me ask you here. I see Ian Kipsogei Keno. What was his duty here?
I think the list that you are providing here is for the travel purposes. This is not for allowances.
Okay.
And the travel purposes is different from what was for allowances and the people who are supposed to be in the village.
Well,
different
I asked that because money was procured for these people. I can see Vincent Kinyili Paul, who I think is related to FK Paul on this list. What are their duties here? Why would we buy tickets for people who are not accredited, sir?
Well, just as I have a list of media personnel here, I prepared a list which was meant specifically for purposes of ticket procurement.
Juliet Chepkorir Maritim.
Yes.
Is that a relative of yours?
Yes, this is my wife.
Okay.
But was she given a ticket?
I don't know. You see, now you find her on the list. It raises questions.
Yeah, but when you are asking about this, and yet she has not been given a question, that is ridiculous.
So she did not travel?
No.
Well, that is the best we could get from Soy, his version being that his wife did not make it to travel despite her name being on the list.
I'm saying this is a list that I officially signed and submitted it to the ministry for purposes of getting the tickets. How you got this list, really, I don't know.
Meanwhile, it emerged according to the list that Sports Cabinet Secretary Dr. Hassan Wario was accompanied by 7 aides, including 3 bodyguards, 2 communication staff and 2 personal assistants. The 2 personal assistants were Wesley Maritim and Twaha Dida, while the communication staff were Monica Sairo and Richard Abura. The 3 bodyguards are listed as Ali Guyo, Lamek Oriku and Abdullahi Omar. Did the minister really need 3 bodyguards?
3 bodyguards came to Rio. Is there any truth to such allegation?
I mean, you see, let's say bodyguards, for example. Bodyguards, you know how Rio is. As a person, if you are coming as a CS, aren't you entitled to some bit of safety? We have examples of ministers being bagged, isn't it, in the Copacabana and other areas. You know, in Kenya, people think the Copacabana is just a leisure place, but it's also a venue for beach volleyball, isn't it? Isn't it? It is where most hotels are located. You've also seen here, really, if I want to get a vehicle, who do I run to? It is somebody that is a PO or what that comes to help me, isn't it? So generally, when you look at it, people would want to just exaggerate these things. What is here is officials that we have needed as a ministry to coordinate work, and that's what we are doing.
The principal secretary, on the other hand, was accompanied by his secretary, Maureen Motuku. Also on the list of officials is sports registrar Rose Wasike. Heads of various sports parastatals, including Sports Kenya, the Sports Fund, Kenya National Sports Council, the Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya, also travelled to Rio de Janeiro. In total, 24 people travelled from the sports ministry and other related parastatals, 12 of whom travelled on business class. Our source claims that there were also officials on this list who did not travel but could have drawn allowances.
There's no way you can replace Waihiga Mwaura. Waihiga Mwaura remains Waihiga Mwaura. Stephen Soy remains Stephen Soy. Well, if there are those indications, then let me be shown evidence. That is when I will believe.
And the parliamentary delegation that was in Rio de Janeiro chose not to see or hear any evil.
Yeah, we've been able to understand actually the challenges that the team has had, but most of the stories that we've heard from home actually don't seem to be correct.
The Matungu Member of Parliament also defended the need for Parliament to send a delegation to Rio.
I think Kenyans, they like exaggerating figures because you can see the members who are here. We have Honorable Wanyama here, myself, Honorable Mutura here, and of course Wesley is an athlete.
We established that there was no problem of funding with Team Kenya in Rio. A document in our possession shows that Stephen Mudhuma, writing on behalf of the Sports Ministry Principal Secretary Richard Ekai, informed Sports Kenya Director General Gordon Olwoch that the allowances for the entire delegation of 87 athletes and 97 officials to the Games would cost $1,502,850 which basically translates to a little over 150 million Kenya shillings. Besides that, a local betting company also chipped in 40 million Kenya shillings, while East African Breweries Limited added 71 million Kenya shillings, making it a total of 216 million Kenya shillings. Reporting for Sunday Live, I'm Waihiga Mwaura.